Good morning. Today I'd like to talk about silence. Not the awkward kind of silence when no one is talking during a conversation, but the silence when you quiet your mind. I remember walking on our trails one Saturday afternoon. I usually carry my cell phone and an earphone to listen to YouTube or podcasts while taking a walk. Because English is my second language, I always feel like I need to spend as much time as possible in listening or reading in English. But on that day, I decided to leave my cell phone in my room. It was a beautiful spring day. Without the cell phone in my hand, I could just walk. Soon I realized that everything felt more vivid and alive. The green leaves of the trees, wildflowers, the breeze, clouds in the blue sky. From time to time, I stopped to take a picture of them because they were so beautiful. This I rarely do. When I arrived at the creek trail, I sat on the bench and listened to the sound of the flowing water. I looked around and I still remember how tall the trees were, how the sunlight penetrated the leaves, and even their shadows. I heard the bird chirping, and other subtle sounds, but I also felt some silence underneath all the subtle sounds. As I was walking in nature, being aware of its silence, the stream of thinking subsided, and I became silent within. When I came back to my room, I felt like I had been to some place where I had never been. Of course, it was the same trail that I used to take all the time. I'm not saying that we should not listen to podcasts when we take a walk. I'm trying to share what I felt that day. We human beings have a very similar aspect of silence in our minds because we are part of nature. Just like I was able to access to the silence in nature by deciding to leave my cell phone in my room, we can always return to our inner silence if we decide to quiet our inner chatter. Nature manifests marvelous existence in silence. Likewise, wonderful qualities of the human mind, such as equanimity, wisdom, and righteousness, are restored when you are experiencing inner silence. Sotaesan, the founding teacher of Won Buddhism, also describes these qualities as perfect and complete, utterly impartial and selfless. I think the enlightened masters tried so hard to find the precise words that match this state of mind. Words are like the fingers pointing at the moon. It is the moon, not the finger, that you want to get to. Therefore, we shouldn't be deluded by the words. So many ideas and images are attached to the words, such as silence or emptiness. This prevents us to get to the moon. When we talk about the inner silence, it's not a passive state of numbness. On the contrary, when this state is present, you become more aware of the world and your surroundings because there are no restless thoughts to distract you. How can you experience this inner silence? We practice meditation to cultivate and expand this space in our mind. However, it is not that we need to necessarily sit on the cushion to experience it. It is possible that we return to our inner silence almost immediately if we decide to stop the constant chatter of the mind. I would say silence is like your friend, always standing outside of your front door, but cannot enter without your invitation. Let me share my experience. One day, I became angry at someone while I was reading the email that he sent me. I was disappointed by the carelessness and irresponsibility of that person. These negative emotions lasted till the next morning when I sat on the meditation cushion. I may have seemed still from the outside, but inside, my mind was messy and full of the thoughts like, how dare you? When you strongly identify with your emotions, just to try letting go of them seems not even possible. You become addicted to your thoughts and cannot stop playing with them. I was like that on that day. After I spent, maybe 20 or 30 minutes or so of meditation session, I finally felt this was ridiculous and embarrassing. But I still was not able to let it go. Or maybe I did not want to let it go. We all experience this state of mind. You suffer from it, but you want to hold on to it. Finally, I decided to invite the friend standing outside of my front door to listen to what the friend was trying to tell me. I turned to the inner silence and just sat with it. After a while, I heard some gentle voice within. Do you know what the voice said to me? It said, "You've done the same thing to other people before." It was true. I had done the same thing before with the same reason I assumed that person also would have had. As I heard this gentle inner voice say this to me, the fire that burned my mind was extinguished. This happened even though I did not try to understand that person. How can you explain this? The enlightened masters in Buddhist tradition describe the Buddha nature, true emptiness and marvelous existence. As it says in the essential dharmas of daily practice, when our mind becomes empty of conditioned thoughts and emotions, it becomes free from disturbance, delusion, and wrongdoings. When I sit for morning meditation, I often realize how unmindful and careless I was when I did or said something the previous day. I don't try to reflect on it, but it naturally happens. Isn't it interesting? Why does this happen? Usually when I sit, especially in the next morning. I think this explains that innate wisdom is naturally restored when our mind settles down. This happens because it is our default mode. When you put down your thoughts and sit with a silence for a while, you can hear this gentle voice within. If you cannot hear it, maybe you are still playing with your thoughts. This may take time according to how strongly you are holding on to your thoughts or emotions. So here's the tip. When you actually want to listen to the person you are with, you stop speaking. Because if you speak, you cannot listen, right? So likewise, if you want to listen to the silence, the gentle voice within, imagine that you are with your best friend, whom you trust the most, and you want to listen to what he or she says to you. Then what do? You stop speaking and wait. Likewise, quiet your mind and just sit with the silence. This is the idea that I'd like to share today. When everything goes well, it's not that difficult to keep a balanced state of mind. But once sensory conditions affect us, whether from major hurts or the little sufferings, we easily forget the existence of our inner stillness and just identify with those disturbances as if we had always been like that. To reconnect to the equanimity and your innate wisdom, you need to first decide to listen to the silence. This is both easy and difficult. It is easy because there is nobody who prevents you from doing it. But it is also difficult because once you identified with your thoughts and emotions, it is difficult to get out of the box and become aware of another realm of your mind. So remember that your friend has been always there, always in front of your door waiting for you, even when you feel unwell, agitated, sad, afraid, or worried. At some point, you need to make a decision to invite a friend with a curiosity and willingness to encounter yourself in silence. So there may be so many great teachers, Dharma friends, and great books. But there is no one else to do this for you. If you practice sitting meditation regularly, you will become more closer to the friend. So it will be easier to invite the friend. We sometimes chant the spiritual mantra in our Sunday service. Whenever I chant the spiritual mantra, it reminds me that I am originally connected to the universe. And therefore, I can reconnect to it whenever I decide to. So I'd like to finish my talk today by reading the spiritual mantra for you. The spiritual mantra. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth permeates my mind. My pure consciousness touches all things in the universe. Heaven, earth, I become one. I join with heaven and earth, creating harmony. Thank you.